Hi, everyone, and welcome to For Immediate Release. This is episode 485. I'm Neville Hobson.
And I'm Shel Holtz, and it is time to stop making going viral the point of our work. I'm not arguing that reach is irrelevant. I'm arguing that virality as an objective is a strategic dead end. High variance, low repeatability, and increasingly disconnected from outcomes that matter. I'll explain right after this. For years, viral success stories seduced communicators, and I'm among them. There's a thrill in watching that graph spike, but we've learned a few hard truths. First, virality is unpredictable by design. Platforms tune feeds to maximize their goals, not yours. Second, even when you catch lightning in a bottle, the spike rarely results in any kind of durable advantage. A new peer-reviewed analysis of more than 1,000 European news publishers on Facebook and YouTube, published in the journal Nature, found that most viral events do not significantly increase engagement and rarely lead to sustained growth. In other words, the sugar high fades, and it fades fast. Meanwhile, veterans of content-led link earning have publicly stepped away from virality as a North Star. Fractal, an agency that once made viral part of its brand, now says flatly, and I'm quoting, "We don't care about viral marketing anymore, and neither should you." Their pivot is toward durable metrics like authority, affinity, and relevance. You might think that's a vibe shift, but it's not. It's a strategic correction. Even the classic research on viral ads, the eye-tracking work that taught us how emotional arcs and brand cameos drive sharing, was never proof that you can plan a viral outcome, only that certain creative choices improve your odds at the margin. Helpful craft guidance? Yeah, sure. A basis for corporate OKR, that's objectives and key results? Nope. Layer on platform dynamics and the case gets stronger. Meta's shift away from news, culminating in the shutdown of CrowdTangle, the very tool journalists used to see what was going viral, has reduced transparency and made spikes harder to both trigger and to verify. When the scoreboard moves behind a curtain, playing for highlight reel moments becomes folly. In some markets, we can literally watch viral news get deprioritized. In Australia, publishers report Facebook engagement at all-time lows as memes and creator posts fill the feed. If the feed favors entertainment over information, it also favors retention over reach. Your viral playbook ages out fast in that environment. The New York Times captured the cultural angle. The internet that rewarded sudden mass attention is giving way to one that rewards depth. Revisit rates, creator loyalty, community momentum. A share count trophy doesn't impress the algorithm anymore. Sustained, meaningful engagement does. So what should replace viral as the goal? Let's cover a few things. First, a design for compounding attention, not explosive attention. Plan content as a series, not a stunt. Build episodic formats, office hours, ask me anythings, recurring data notes, anything that trains the audience to keep coming back. The scientific finding I studied earlier is the tell. Durable growth comes from consistency, not from lucky breaks. Second, shift your KPI set. Trade shares and views as headline metrics for return rate, session depth, qualified traffic, assisted pipeline, issue literacy, whatever truly maps to your business or reputation outcomes. Fractal's rationale for de-emphasizing virality in form of authority and affinity is a good model. Third, optimize for platform fit, not platform luck. Where audiences actually engage, optimize to the native behaviors that correlate with retention. A quick example outside our usual stomping grounds, science communities now see richer discussion on Blue Sky than on X because the culture and mechanics favor constructive back and forth over dunking. Smaller network, higher quality signal. Build earned elasticity into distribution is the fourth tactic. Yeah, keep a line item for opportunistic amplification. Creator partnerships, timely collaborations, paid boosts that extend life for posts that deserve it. But treat amplification as gasoline for a fire you're already tending, not a match you light and hope it sets the world on fire. Fifth, prepare for attention risk, not attention gain. The wider your message travels, the less control you have over how it's interpreted. Your plan needs counter message, clarification assets, and issues response baked in. Meta's data opacity only raises the bar for preparedness. So when does a viral goal still make sense? Well, there are edge cases, awareness blitzes for entertainment launches, urgent public interest alerts, or short-run stunts designed to trigger specific behaviors, like getting signups during a defined window of time. Even then, the viral moment has to be tethered to a post-moment system, a next step path, a nurture stream, community onboarding, so the spike has somewhere to go. If you're still writing go viral on a brief, cross it out, replace it with create repeat engagement among the right people, increase qualified discovery, or raise message salience with priority stakeholders. Those are hard, unsexy verbs, but they're the ones that move the work forward. And if you're thinking, we've always chased reach, why change now? Consider the evidence. The platforms don't reward virality the way they used to. The data windows are narrowing, and the best research we have shows spikes don't stick. Plan for compounding attention. Let virality, if it arrives, be a bonus, not the business model.
Good assessment, Shel. I had to admit, I was thinking about the two words, viral marketing, and what came to my mind, as it's not a topic I'm kind of thinking about every day, was what we saw a decade ago, which was spontaneous stuff that largely wasn't planned, although much of it was planned, but didn't really work. Things like, for instance, I reminded myself today, and I looked at the video, the Chewbacca Mom back in 2016, I think it was, that was a surprise hit. I mean, really, it was natural. It was spontaneous. It wasn't planned. It was brilliant. It was wonderful, actually. But it perhaps illustrated the point you've just made, which because that wasn't part of any kind of plan at all, it was spontaneous. So it didn't have any kind of road to go down. It just erupted and grabbed lots of attention, and that was it. The guy whose name I can't recall, nor his company, but who was interviewed on the BBC, business, sitting in his home office, business suit and tie and all that, and his two little children burst in. One was a little toddler, and one was even younger, who came in on like a baby stroller. And then the maid came in behind to drag them out. And all the time the interviewer was asking him the questions, and he was saying, I do apologize. I'm very sorry about this. It was super. And that went viral.
Yeah, that was during COVID, right? When he was doing the broadcast from home. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in lockdown. So he was doing that. So that would have been about 2020. So I think that time was one where these ideas were emerging, that the kind of places where you could stimulate this weren't as widely covered as they are today, and there's more of them today. But apart from that, the whole landscape has shifted, and mindsets have shifted even. So knowing that this is going to be our topic today, I actually asked Google, it's something I do quite often, just a simple provocative question: is viral marketing still a thing? So Google search, that was not GPT or Perplexity and all that. And the AI overview result was actually quite interesting. Yes, viral marketing is still a thing, says Google, but it's evolved to be more sophisticated and integrated into social media strategies. While going viral is never guaranteed, it says the core concept of creating engaging content that people want to share spontaneously remains a powerful tool for brand awareness, and can be boosted by social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and X. And that, I think, makes total sense to me, that qualifier of it, which we didn't hear very much a decade ago when Chewbacca Mom and the BBC interview guy were the stars of the online world. But that, to me, always made sense, that you don't do something from a business point of view, just get it out there. Yet lots of people did precisely that, without any seeming strategic approach to what was the outcome they were expecting from this, other than to get thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people sharing it or commenting or liking it or whatever. What were you going to get from all of that? Where's your strategic aspiration in that regard? That's different now. And I did take a look at Fractal's piece. That was actually published back in 2021. So that's quite old. But nevertheless, I've seen others saying it. That's it. The viral marketing's done. And I think it's more nuanced than that. You need to qualify it. One thing I did like from the Nature report, the analytical report, almost academic report Nature did, was defining, or they say, identifying two primary types of viral marketing, which I've not really heard many people talking about. They call it a loaded type virality, which manifests itself after a sustained growth period, a growth phase representing its final burst, followed by a decline in attention. The second one is the sudden type virality, with news emerging unexpectedly that reactivates the collective response process. And they talk about quick viral effects fade fast, while slower processes lead to more persistent growth. So this is now a far more evolved and attractive proposition to consider this. So I would say, just based on my quick Google AI overviews read up and skimming parts of this Nature report, that I don't think it is time to drop going viral from the list of marketing. I'd say you need to prep yourself for the new way of doing this, or a more effective way of doing this as part of your marketing strategy, don't you think?
No, I don't. We'll disagree on this, because if you look at both of the examples you shared, the Chewbacca mom and the guy on the news.
But don't forget, that was 10 to 15 years ago.
Yes, it was. But neither of them were trying to go viral, and neither of them were representing a brand that wanted to expand reach. They both just happened to catch the attention of people who said, this is really fun or amazing, I'm going to share it. And then other people shared it. I remember even at the height of the viral video craze, the agencies that said, we can help you go viral, basically were saying, we think we have cracked the code on what makes things go viral. We are going to develop our videos so that they conform with those things. And maybe 1 out of 10 that we produce will go viral, because there's also some secret sauce that we haven't been able to decode yet. And now, on top of the difficulty you had planning for something to go viral back then, now you have the algorithms that aren't rewarding the kind of content that it did reward 10 years ago when those kinds of videos did go viral. I mean, think about Oreo. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when I think it was their 100th anniversary, and they had the 100 days of Oreo with different sort of memes about Oreos, and they would replace them with something unplanned when there was a breaking news event, and they could come up with a way to design one of these images so that it was consistent with the news that was breaking. And a couple of those went viral. I don't think they would today. I don't think the algorithm would necessarily reward them the way they did back then. So yeah, I think if you create something that's clever and entertaining and it happens to go viral, or even if you bake in some of the things that you hope will make it go viral, that's fine. But I don't think that should be your plan. I think your plan should be those other things that I referenced, getting people to come back, having repeat visitors, and slowly building the audience, building the community. They'll share, but it doesn't need to go viral at that point in order to deliver the kind of ROI that marketers are looking for.
So I think the AI overview bits and pieces that Google popped up from a number of sources say all of that, actually. I mean, all those examples from a decade or more ago, I don't think are relevant today because of the fact things have changed along the lines of that you've said. But I think I like the way in which this summary talks about why viral marketing is still relevant. That actually says all the things that you've just said. Emotionally entertaining content, share-worthy ideas, timely and relevant, audience engagement. That's what you've got to aim for. They also talk about, those, by the way, are what the results of the search say are the key elements of modern viral marketing. That's what you said. So whatever you call it, maybe the word viral needs to be pushed away into the shadows a bit more, I think.
Oh, especially because COVID, right?
Yeah. So, I still hear people, not much, I have to admit, but I saw someone writing about it on, I think it was LinkedIn, about creating a viral video. I'm thinking that you've never been able to create a viral video. You'll be able to create a video that may go viral, but people tend to not quite see that point of view. So what's changed then, I say, using the video as an example? You create a piece of content that you get it amplified through social media. And set aside algorithms for a second. That's emotional and very entertaining. Lots of people like it, and it's part of your plan of other things you're doing around product X or whatever it might be. And platforms today make it easier than they were even 10 years ago for content to spread quickly. As Google AI says, acting as a force multiplier for marketing efforts. So I think there's still mileage in looking at this method of, let's call it viral marketing. It still has legs, in my view, if you approach it the right way and create it or look at it in terms of what you describe, which fits exactly what Google's AI overview says. This is not about Chewbacca Mom or BBC Interview Guy, where it was spontaneous. People thought it was terrific and they shared it. That was it, basically. It still shows up, by the way, when you do. And the BBC Interview Guy says he's indelibly got in his resume now the BBC Interview Guy, as it's called. So people, oh yeah, you were that one, right? So I think it is worth considering it. Maybe don't call it viral marketing. This is really part of your overall marketing strategy, that you employ all the things you mentioned and all the stuff that's mentioned here too. And indeed, all the stuff that the Nature Report mentioned too, about the two types of viral marketing. So I think it's got legs still.
In terms of brands, I'm trying to think of something that went viral in the last few years and something that they wanted to go viral. There's been plenty that has been spread around that I'm sure they wished hadn't gone viral. But I can't think of a marketing effort that has taken that path in the last few years.
No,
I just can't think of one. So I'd rather
maybe
put my energy.
They're not doing it. Yeah, they're not doing it the way they did it before then. So
I remember there was
one else.
I remember reading an interview. I think we talked about this on the show at the time, even though it's probably a decade ago. He spent money to have a video go viral. That was what the agency planned. And it didn't. And he was upset until he started getting a lot of lead generation response. It turned out that it had only been seen by about 1,500 people, but they were the right 1,500 people because of the tags. It was a very technical video, and it actually led to return on investment. I remember somebody saying, having 100 people see your video is a win if your target audience was the U.S. Senate, which has 100 members. So how much reach do you want? You want to reach the right people. You don't want to reach everybody who's not going to buy your product or spend money on your service. I'd rather target. I'd rather build an audience. I'd rather focus on episodes and recurring content that brings people back over and over and over again. Maybe one of those will go viral, and if it does, to win.
Well, I think you've actually then differentiated that quite well, because the example you gave of the agency who planned a viral video or planned a video to go viral, I'm not quite sure how you would do that, to be honest, is the issue there. What you described in terms of the actual outcome, which sounds like it was accidental. They certainly didn't plan that. But again, that's 10 years ago, I think you mentioned. So now I'm pretty sure that that would not be the case. It would not be done that way at all. They would, I would imagine, if they were doing this now, it would be definitely well structured, well thought through as part of their marketing activity. And maybe the word viral wouldn't appear anywhere.
Could be. But if anybody has planned for something to go viral out there and had success with it, drop us a line. We'd love to know about it. And that'll be a 30 for this episode of For Immediate Release.